before you hit play, do me one favor. Subscribe, because after you hear this, you might not want to come back. You might not want to believe it, but you need to know what's out there. What we made, what we became. My name doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what I saw in those mountains, what I survived, and what's still out there, watching, waiting. This isn't a campfire story. This isn't folklore. This is a confession. It was November 2019, eastern Kentucky, deep Appalachia, where the mountains swallow sound and the trees grow so thick you lose the sky. We were a 6-man team, Delta Force, off-book, the kind of mission that doesn't exist on paper, the kind that gets buried if it goes wrong. Our objective, locate and assess a missing research facility operated by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA. The place had gone dark 3 weeks prior. No communication, no distress signal, just silence. The briefing was thin, too thin. We were told the facility was studying enhanced combat performance. That's military speak for something they don't want you to ask about. We inserted at 0400 hours, 10 clicks from the target site. Hello dropped us on a ridgeline and disappeared into the dark. The forest closed, and immediately. It was cold, not winter cold, wrong cold, the kind that seeps into your bones and sits there. No birds, no insects, nothing. Daniels was on point. He stopped after 20 meters, raised a fist. We froze. He turned back, his face pale in NVGs. Smell that? We did. Rot. Copper. Something else underneath. Musk. Animal, but not quite. Keep moving, I said. We pushed forward in a staggered column, weapons up, scanning the trees. The forest felt wrong. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was predatory, like the woods were holding their breath. 2 hours in, we found the first sign. Claw marks, gouged deep into a pine tree, 8 feet off the ground, for parallel tracks, each as wide as my thumb. Bear, Ramirez whispered. No, said Chun, our medic. He ran his gloved fingers along the grooves. Too uniform, too deliberate. Then what? Chin didn't answer. He just looked up into the canopy, jaw tight. We kept moving. The facility appeared just before dawn. A concrete structure half buried in the mountainside, camouflaged with moss and vines. The entrance was a blast door, 30 feet wide, hanging open at an angle. Someone had torn it off the hinges. Not blown, torn. The steel was bent outward like foil. Jesus Christ, Daniels muttered. We stacked up at the entrance. I checked my rifle, safety off, selector to semi. My heart was hammering, but my hands were steady. Training takes over. On me, I said. We entered. The interior was a tomb. Emergency lights flickered in the dark, casting red shadows across concrete walls. The air was thick with the stench of decay and chemicals. The floor was slick with something dark. Blood, gallons of it, smeared, dragged, spray across the walls in arcs. Contact. Ramirez asked, voice tight. Negative. Stay sharp. We moved through the main corridor. Offices, labs, all ransacked. Computers smashed. Files scattered. But no bodies. Just blood. Too much blood. In one lab, we found a bank of shattered containment pods. Thick glass, reinforced steel frames, designed to hold something strong, something dangerous. All of them were empty. On the wall above them, someone had spray painted a single word in red. Shepherd. What the hell is Shepherd? Daniels asked. I didn't know. Not yet. We descended deeper, down a stairwell, into sublevel 2. The temperature dropped. The walls were lined with observation windows, one-way glass looking into cells. Each cell was identical, 10 by 10, concrete, a drain in the center, restraint anchors in the floor, and on the walls, scratch marks. Hundreds of them, frantic, desperate, human fingernails. Chin stopped at one cell, pressed his hand against the glass. They kept people down here, he said quietly, or things that used to be people. I replied, we found the research wing at the end of the corridor. The door was ajar. Inside, the walls were covered in documents, schematics, photos. I stepped closer. The photos showed men, soldiers, strapped to tables, hooked to 4 drips, eyes wide with terror. In later images, their bodies had changed. Elongated limbs, distorted faces, teeth like daggers. One photo showed a subject mid-transformation, skin splitting, bones restructuring, jaw unhinging. The caption read, Shepherd 7, Day 14 post-injection. Cognitive retention, 62%. Aggression index, critical. Ramirez picked up a file. His face went white. They were trying to make super soldiers, he said. Genetic splicing, wolf DNA, apex predator traits, enhanced strength, speed, senses. Did it work? Daniels asked. Ramirez looked at the torn blast door, the claw marks, the blood. Yeah, he said. It worked. A sound echoed from somewhere deep in the facility. A howl. Not a wolf. Not human. Something in between. We raised our weapons. Exfil. Now I ordered. But as we turned toward the stairs, the lights went out. Every single one. The facility plunged into total darkness. And in that darkness, we heard it. Breathing. Low. Wet. Close. Then, from behind us, a growl that vibrated through the floor. Contact rear. Chen shouted. Muzzle flashes lit the corridor. The sound was deafening. Bullets sparked off concrete, ricocheted, shattered glass. I saw it for half a second in the strobing light. Tall, lean, covered in matted fur. Limbs too long. Hands tipped with claws. A face that was almost human, except for the eyes. Yellow, burning, intelligent. It moved like smoke. One moment there, the next gone. Fall back. Fall back. I screamed. We ran. We sprinted up the stairs, boots pounding concrete, breath ragged in our throats. Behind us, something was moving. Fast, too fast. Claws scraped metal. A wet snarl echoed. Move, move, move. I shouted. We hit the main corridor. Daniels was in front, rifle up, sweeping corners. Ramirez was on my 6. Firing control burst behind us. The thing didn't stop. It followed the sound. The smell. Us. We burst through the entrance and into the pre-dawn gray. The forest was still silent. Still wrong. Perimeter. 360 coverage. I barked. We formed a tight circle, backs together, scanning the trees. My heart was slamming against my ribs. Sweat dripped into my eyes despite the cold. Nothing moved. Did we lose it? Ramirez whispered. No, Chen said. It let us go. I believed him. We started moving uphill toward the extraction point. Double time. No talking. Just the crunch of boots on dead leaves and the sound of our own breathing. 2 clicks in, Martinez stopped. Sir, he said, voice shaking. We're being followed. How many? I don't know. More than one. I turned, scanned the forest, and I saw them. Shapes. Low to the ground. Moving parallel to us through the trees. Gray-black fur. Eyes like coals. They didn't run. They glided, silent, coordinated. Hunting. Contact left. Contact right. Daniels yelled. They came at us from 3 sides. Fast. We opened fire. The forest erupted with gunfire. Muzzle flashes strobed the dark. Brass casings clinked on stone. I mag-dumped into the trees, saw something flinch, stumble, but it didn't go down. One of them broke through. Martinez screamed. I turned just in time to see it take him to the ground. It was massive, 7 feet, maybe more. It moved like a wolf but stood on 2 legs, hunched, powerful. Its jaws clamped around Martinez's shoulder and shook him like a doll. Bone cracked. Get off him, Chen shouted. We fired. Point blank. The creature jerked, snarled. Blood sprang from its torso, but it didn't let go. Martinez stopped screaming. The thing looked up at us. Blood dripped from its muzzle, and then it smiled. Not a snarl, a smile. It dropped Martinez's body and melted back into the trees. Martinez! Chun ran forward, dropped his knees. Chun, we gotta move. He's gone, Chen said, voice hollow. He's gone. We didn't have time to mourn. More shapes circled us. Closer now. Bolder. We're surrounded. Ramirez said, I keyed my radio. Static. No signal. Jammer. Daniels asked. Or, they're smart enough to know what radios do, I said. Daniels stared at me. What the hell are these things? Soldiers, I said. They're soldiers. We moved fast, abandoning stealth for speed. The extraction point was still 3 clicks out. Too far, but it was our only shot. They followed, always just out of sight, shadows between the trees, eyes in the dark. Every few minutes, one would charge, testing us. We'd fire, drive it back, but it was draining our ammo, wearing us down. They weren't just hunting. They were strategizing. An hour before dawn, we hit a ravine, 30 feet deep, steep walls, a creek at the bottom. We cross here, I said. That's a kill box. Ramirez said, if they hit us in there, we don't have a choice. We descended single file. Daniels first, then Ramirez, Chun, and me at the rear. Halfway down, I heard it. A howl. Close. Answered by 2 more. Then 4. Then 10. They're coming, I said. We slid down the slope, hit the creek, and started running. Water splashed. Rocks turned under our boots. The walls of the ravine rose on either side, blocking the sky. Behind us, shapes poured over the ridge. Contact rear. I shouted, firing as I ran. They came down the slope like an avalanche. Dozens of them, all sizes, some still partially human, limping, malformed, others fully transformed, sleek and deadly. Ramirez tripped, went down hard. Ramirez! I turned back, grabbed his plate carrier, hauled him up. A creature landed 5 feet away, claws tearing into the mud. I put 3 round center mass. It staggered, snarled, but kept coming, chewing through a grenade. Frag out. We hit the ground. The explosion tore through the ravine. Dirt and blood rained down. My ears rang. Smoke filled the air. When I looked up, half of them were down, twitching, whimpering, but the others kept coming. Go, go, go. We ran. We reached the top of the ravine as the sun broke over the mountains. Golden light spilled across the trees. The creatures stopped at the ridge, snarling, pacing, but they didn't follow. They don't like the light, Chin said. They don't need to, I replied. They already know where we're going. We pushed on, exhausted, low on ammo, 2 men down. The extraction point was a clearing half a click ahead. We could see the break in the trees. Almost there, but when we reached it, the helo wasn't there. Where the hell is our ride? Daniels shouted. I checked my watch. We were on time. I keyed the radio again. Still static. They're not coming, Ramirez said quietly. They wrote us off. No, I said. They're coming. We just need a hold. Hold against what? Daniels pointed back at the forest. They were gathering. Dozens of them. Ringing the clearing. Watching. Waiting. And in the center of the pack, one stepped forward. Bigger than the others. Scarred. Its fur was patchy. Skin stretched over too much muscle. But its eyes. I knew those eyes. Marcus. I whispered. It tilted its head. And then it spoke. Not a growl. Not a howl. Words. Broken. Rasping. But words. You should have stayed away. My blood went cold. Marcus, it's me. It's Reese. We served together. Remember? The creature took a step closer. I remember, it said. I remember everything. Then help us. You're still in there. You're still human. It laughed. A wet, choking sound. I'm better than human now. It raised one clawed hand, and the pack charged. The world became chaos. Gunfire, snarling, screaming. We formed a defensive circle in the center of the clearing, firing in all directions. My rifle kicked against my shoulder, the barrel heating up, brass casings piling at my feet. One creature lunged at Daniels. He met it with a combat knife, driving the blade up through its jaw. It thrashed, clawed at him, tore through his vest. He twisted the knife and shoved it away, blood pouring from his chest. Daniels. I'm good. But he wasn't. He was pale, shaking. Chin dragged him back, ripped open a trauma kit, started packing the wound. "Stay with me, brother," Chin said. "Stay with me?" Ramirez fired his last mag, dropped it, reloaded. "I'm down to one," he shouted. "Same." I yelled back. We were out of time. One of the creatures broke through. Huge, scarred, missing an ear. It tackled Ramirez to the ground, jaws snapping inches from his face. He jammed his forearm into its mouth, screaming as teeth sank into flesh. I put my barrel against its skull and pulled the trigger. The creature's head snapped back. Blood sprayed. It collapsed. Ramirez scrambled away, clutching his mangled arm. "I'm bit," he gasped. "I'm bit." "We'll deal with it later," I said, but we both knew what that meant. Then, through the chaos, a sound, rotors. The hello. It crested the ridge, nose down, fast and low. The side gunner opened up with the M240, raking the tree line. Tracers cut through the pack. Bodies jerked and fell. "Get to the bird!" I screamed. We ran. Chin dragged Daniels. I pulled Ramirez. The hello touched down, skids barely on the ground. The crew chief waved us in. "Go, go, go." We were 10 feet away when Marcus stepped out of smoke. He moved faster than anything I'd ever seen. One moment he was at the tree line. The next, he was on us. He hit Chin first. Claws ripped through his back. Chin gasped, blood bubbling from his lips. He dropped Daniels and fell forward. "Chun!" I turned, raised my rifle. Empty. Click. Marcus looked at me, tilted his head. "You can't save them, Reese," he said. "You never could." I dropped the rifle, drew my sidearm. "Maybe not," I said, "but I can sure as hell try." I fired. 6 rounds. Center mass. Head. Throat. Marcus staggered. Blood poured from the holes in his chest. But he didn't fall. He laughed. "Not enough." He lunged. I sidestepped barely. His claws sliced the air where my throat had been. I fired again. Point blank. The slide locked back. Empty. Marcus grabbed me by the vest, lifted me off the ground. His breath was hot and rancid. His eyes, yellow, burning, stared into mine. "You were my friend," he whispered, "and they did this to me. They broke me, rebuilt me, made me into this. Marcus, and now I'm going to break you." He raised his claws. A burst of gunfire tore through his shoulder. He dropped me, spun, snarling. Daniels was on one knee, rifle up, blood soaking his fatigues. "Get away from him." Daniels shouted. Marcus charged. Daniels emptied the mag. Every round hit. Marcus stumbled, fell to one knee, but he got back up. Daniels tried to reload. His hands were shaking. The mag slipped, fell to the ground. Marcus reached him. Daniels looked at me, smiled. "Go," he said. Then Marcus tore him apart. I ran. Ramirez was already in the hello. The crew chief grabbed my vest, hauled me inside. "Go, go." The hello lifted. The gunner kept firing. Bodies fell, twisted, screamed. And then we were up, above the trees. Away. I looked down. Marcus stood in the center of the clearing, covered in blood, staring up at us. He raised one clawed hand. Not a threat. A wave. "Goodbye, old friend." We flew in silence. Ramirez sat across from me, clutching his mangled arm. His eyes were distant. "Glassy, how you holding up?" I asked. He didn't answer. The medic on the hello checked his wound, then looked at me, shook his head. The bite was deep, infected, already festering. Ramirez knew. He leaned his head back against the bulkhead, closed his eyes. "Tell my wife I love her," he said quietly. "You're going to tell her yourself," I said. He smiled, sad, tired. "No, Reese, I'm not." We landed at a forward operating base 2 hours later. Ramirez was rushed to medical. I was debriefed by 2 men in black suits. No names, no insignia. They asked questions. I gave answers. How many hostiles? Dozens. Origin. Project Shepherd. DARPA experiment. Genetic modification. Survivors. 1. Marcus Hale. Code name Shepherd 7. They exchanged a glance. Shepherd 7 is deceased. One of them said, Officially? Then you'd better update your files, I said, because I just watched him rip my team apart. They didn't respond, just made notes. What about Ramirez? I asked. He was bitten. He needs treatment. He's being taken care of. What does that mean? They stood. You're dismissed, Sergeant. Report to quarantine. You'll be monitored for 72 hours. Monitored for what? They didn't answer. I was held in a windowless room. White walls. Steel bed. A camera in the corner. They ran tests. Blood draws. Scans. Psychological evaluations. On the second day, I started hearing things. Whispers. Scratching. Footsteps in the hall. But when I looked, there was nothing. On the third day, I started smelling it. Musk, copper, rot, the same smell from the mountains. I looked at my hands. They were shaking. No, not shaking. Twitching. I pulled up my sleeve. My veins were dark, bulging. My skin felt tight. Hot. I ran to the door, pounded on it. Let me out. Something's wrong. Something's. The door opened. A doctor stepped in. Calm. Clinical. Sergeant Reese, he said. Please sit. What's happening to me? You were exposed, he said simply. A blood-borne pathogen. It alters DNA at a cellular level. Accelerates mutation. Mutation into what? He didn't answer. What happened to Ramirez? I demanded. The doctor hesitated. He didn't make it. What do you mean? The transformation was too advanced. He became violent, uncontrollable. We had to neutralize the situation. My stomach turned. You killed him. We contained the threat, the doctor corrected. And me? I asked. What happens to me? He placed a syringe on the table. Clear liquid. This is an inhibitor, he said. It slows the process, buys you time, but it's not a cure. How much time? 6 months, maybe less. I stared at the syringe. And after that, he said quietly, you'll become what they became. They released me a week later. Honorable discharge, full benefits, a folder full of NDAs. I signed everything. What choice did I have? They gave me a bottle of pills, blue capsules, inhibitors. Take one every morning, the doctor said. Do not miss a dose. And if I do, the transformation accelerates. How will I know? He looked at me, cold, professional. You'll know. I went home, tried to live a normal life, but nothing was normal. I couldn't sleep. Every shadow looked like a creature. Every sound made me reach for a weapon I didn't carry anymore. I started avoiding people, crowds, noise. I felt safer in the woods, which scared me more than anything. One night, I woke up in my backyard. No memory of how I got there. My hands were covered in dirt. My nails were cracked, bloody. I'd been digging. I didn't know why. A month later, I missed a dose. I didn't mean to. I just forgot. By the time I realized, it was too late. That night, the pain started. My bones ached. My skin burned. My teeth felt loose in my gums. I looked in the mirror. My eyes were different, brighter, yellow around the edges. I opened my mouth. My canines were longer, sharper. I grabbed the pill bottle, dumped 3 into my hand, swallowed them dry. The pain faded, slowly, but the changes didn't fully reverse. I don't know how much time I have left. Weeks, days, maybe less. I can feel inside me, growing, changing me. My senses are sharper now. I can hear heartbeats from across the room, smell fear, taste blood on the air. Sometimes I catch myself thinking like them, hunting, tracking, killing, and the worst part, I'm starting to like it. They told me I was a hero, a survivor, but I know the truth. I'm not a survivor. I'm patient zero. I stopped taking the pills 2 weeks ago, not because I wanted to, because they stopped working. The changes are accelerating now. Every day, I'm a little less human, a little more something else. My hands are different, fingers longer, nails thicker, darker. My hearing is sharp enough to make out conversations through walls. I can smell emotions, Fear has a sour tang. Anger burns metallic. Sadness smells like rain. At night, I dream of the mountains, of running through the trees, muscles coiled, instinct sharp. I dream of the hunt. And when I wake up, I'm not always in my bed. Last week, I drove back to Appalachia. I don't know why. I just felt pulled, like a fish on a line. I parked at the base of the mountains and started hiking. No gear, no weapon, just me. The forest was silent, watching. I found the facility. The blast door was still torn open. Rust and moss had claimed the entrance. I stepped inside. The smell hit me first. Rot, blood, home. I descended into the dark. No flashlight. I didn't need one. My eyes adjusted. The world became shades of gray and silver. Every detail sharp. Clear. I walked through the halls. Saw the labs. The cells. The photos on the walls. And I understood. They hadn't been trying to make monsters. They'd been trying to make survivors. Soldiers who could endure anything. Adapt to anything. But they forgot one thing. Predators don't follow orders. I found the research wing. Sat down at one of the old desks. The chair creaked under my weight. On the desk was a journal. Leather-bound. Worn. I opened it. The handwriting was shaky. Desperate. Day 47. The subjects are showing higher cognitive function than anticipated. Shepherd 7 has retained full memory and speech capability. This is unprecedented. Day 52. Shepherd 7 has begun communicating with the others. They respond to him. Follow him. He's organizing them. Day 58. We've lost control. They breached containment during the night. 12 personnel dead. Evacuation ordered. I don't think we're going to make it. Final entry. If anyone finds this, burn it. Burn everything. This project should never have existed. We didn't create soldiers. We created something that will outlive us all. I closed the journal, set it on the desk, and then I heard it. Footsteps. Behind me. I turned. Marcus stood in the doorway. He looked the same as I remembered. Scarred, massive, eyes burning yellow in the dark. But there was something else in his gaze now. Recognition. Sadness. You came back, he said. I didn't have a choice. None of us do, he replied. The change doesn't ask. It just takes. Is there a way to stop it? I asked. He shook his head slowly. No, but there's a way to survive it. How? He stepped closer. His claws scraped the floor. You stop fighting what you are. You accept it. Become it. I don't want to become a monster, I said. Monster, he repeated, tasting the word. That's what they called us. But we're not monsters, Reese. We're evolution. We're what comes next. You killed innocent people. No, he said. I killed the people who made me this. The ones who turned us into weapons and threw us away when we became inconvenient. He leaned down, his face inches from mine. They did this to you too, and they'll do it to others, unless someone stops them. How? By showing them what they created. He reached out, placed one clawed hand on my shoulder. Join us, he said, or die fighting what you're becoming. Your choice. I looked into his eyes, and I saw the truth. He wasn't a monster. He was a soldier, just like me. I didn't join him, but I didn't kill him either. I left the facility, drove home, packed my things, and I disappeared. That was 6 months ago. I've been living in the wilderness ever since, moving from place to place, staying off the grid. The transformation is almost complete now. My body has changed, stronger, faster. My senses are sharper than any human's. I can run for hours without tiring, hunt without thinking. But I'm still me. I still remember who I was. And I remember what they did. There are more of us out there. I've seen the signs. Claw marks. Tracks disappearances in remote areas. Project Shepherd wasn't the only program. There were others, other experiments, other soldiers. And they're waking up. The government knows. They're covering it up, burning evidence, silencing witnesses. But they can't burn us all. I'm telling you this because you need to know. If you're hiking in the backcountry and you hear something that doesn't sound right, trust your instincts. If you see claw marks on trees 8 feet up, leave. If you smell musk and copper and rot, run, because we're out here, and we're not going away. Some of us are still fighting the change. Try and hold on to what we were. Others have embraced it, become what they were made to be. Me? I'm somewhere in between. Still human enough to warn you, but not human enough to care what you do with that warning. The government will tell you we don't exist. They'll say it's folklore, cryptids, hoaxes, but you'll know the truth when you see us, when you hear us, when you smell us in the dark. And if you ever meet someone who claims they survived an encounter with us, look at their eyes. If they're starting to turn yellow, run, because it means they didn't survive. They just haven't finished changing yet. I don't know how much longer I have. Days, maybe hours. But I wanted you to know. I wanted someone to understand. We were soldiers, patriots. We volunteered to serve our country. And they turned us into weapons. Then they tried to bury us. But you can't bury something that's already learned to hunt in the dark. My name was Sergeant William Reese. And I was a good man. I hope you remember that. Because the next time you hear my name, it won't be attached to anything human. One last thing. If you're listening to this, and you start noticing changes, sharper senses, strange cravings, anger you can't control, don't ignore it. Don't tell yourself it's stress or trauma, because it's not. It's the beginning. And once it starts, there's no going back. They say some doors should never be opened. Some experiments should never be run. Some soldiers should never come home. I'm proof of that. And soon there will be more. So do me a favor. If you see something moving in the woods that doesn't belong, don't investigate. Don't film it. Don't try to be a hero. Just leave. Because the mountains are full of us now. And we're hungry. This is Sergeant William Reese, signing off. And if you hear howling tonight, it might be me. Before I go, I need to tell you one more thing. The part I've been avoiding. The part that keeps me awake. The part that proves I'm not the man I used to be. Because 3 nights ago, I killed someone. It was an accident. At least, that's what I keep telling myself. I was hunting. Deer. I needed to eat. The hunger is constant now. Burning, clawing, impossible to ignore. I tracked the buck through the forest. Moved downwind. Silent. Patient. And then I smelled something else. Human. A hiker. Male. Mid-30s. He'd wandered off the trail. Lost. Panicking. I should have left. Circled back. Waited until he moved on. But I didn't. I watched him. And the longer I watched, the more I felt it. The urge. Not hunger. Something deeper. Primal. The need to hunt. He never saw me coming. I was on him before he could scream. My hand, clawed now, more paw than human, clamped over his mouth. His eyes went wide. Terrified. I could hear his heartbeat, smell his sweat, feel his pulse hammering under my palm. And I wanted to tear into him. Every instinct screamed at me to do it. To bite. To rip. To feed. But some part of me, some tiny, fading part, fought back. I let him go, shoved him away. He scrambled backward, tripping over roots, gasping. Run. I growled. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. It was deeper, rougher, animal. He ran. I let him get 10 feet, and then I chased him. I didn't mean to. I swear I didn't. But the moment he ran, something inside me snapped. The hunt wasn't a choice anymore. It was instinct, reflex. I was faster than him, stronger. I could hear every breath, every stumble. He was prey, and I was the predator. I caught him at the edge of a ravine, tackled him from behind. We hit the ground hard. He screamed, clawed at the dirt, tried to crawl away. I grabbed his ankle, dragged him back, and then I stopped because I saw his face. Young, scared, human. He wasn't a soldier, wasn't a scientist, wasn't part of the project. He was just a guy, out for a hike. Wrong place, wrong time. I let go, stepped back. Go, I said. Now. He didn't need to be told twice. He scrambled up and ran, limping, sobbing. I watched him disappear into the trees, and I hated myself, because for a moment, just a moment, I'd wanted to kill him. Not for food, not for survival, just because I could. That was 3 nights ago. I haven't slept since, because I know what it means. I'm losing. The man I was, the soldier, the brother, the friend, he's fading, and something else is taking his place. Something that doesn't care about right or wrong, about guilt or mercy. Something that only knows hunger, territory, dominance. I don't know how much. Longer I can fight it. Maybe I don't want to. Here's the truth they don't tell you about monsters. They're not born. They're made. Made by choices, by systems, by people who decided some lives were worth less than others. Project Shepherd didn't create monsters. It revealed them. The real monsters wore suits, sat in boardrooms, signed off on experiments that turned human beings into weapons. We were just a result. But that doesn't excuse what I become. I know that. I live with it every day. Every time I feel the hunger. Every time I hear something move in the dark, and my first thought is pray. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just asking you to remember. Remember that we were human once, and we didn't choose this. If you ever find yourself face to face with one of us, don't run. Running triggers the chase. And once the chase starts, we can't stop. Stand your ground. Make yourself big, loud, make noise. Sometimes it's enough to snap us out of it, to remind us what we used to be. But not always. If it charges, fight. Go for the eyes, the throat. Use anything you can. We're strong, fast, but we're not invincible. And some of us, deep down, want you to win, because it means we don't have to live with what we've done. I'm writing this from a cabin deep in the Rockies. No roads, no people, just trees and silence. It's where I'm going to stay, where I'm going to die, or change completely, whichever comes first. I've left instructions, buried in the woods, coordinates, maps. If someone finds this recording, they'll find the rest. Evidence, files, names, everything I could gather about Project Shepherd, about DARPA, about the others. Burn it, release it. I don't care. Just make sure people know. Make sure they understand what was done to us, so it never happens again. And if you're one of them, one of the scientists, the officers, the bureaucrats who signed off on this, we're coming for you. Not all of us. Not yet, but enough. Marcus was right. We're not monsters. We're retribution. There's a storm coming tonight. I can feel it in my bones. Smell it on the wind. I'll probably go outside. Let the rain wash over me. Howl at the sky. Maybe I'll feel human again, just for a moment. Or maybe I'll finally let go. Stop fighting. Become what they made me. Either way, this is the last time I'll speak as a man. The last time I'll use words instead of growls. So listen close. If you're in the woods tonight and you hear something howling, it's not a wolf. It's not a dog. It's me. And I'm saying goodbye. To my family, I'm sorry. I wanted to come home. I tried. To my team, Daniels, Chun, Martinez, Ramirez, I'll see you on the other side. Save me a seat. To Marcus, I understand now. I hope you find peace, or at least revenge. And to you, whoever's listening, thank you for hearing my story, for believing me, for remembering that we were human once. I can feel it starting again. The pain, the change. My hands are shaking, claws pushing through the skin. My vision is sharper, colors bleeding away. The hunger is back, stronger than ever. I don't think I'm going to fight it this time. I'm tired of running, tired of hiding, tired of pretending I'm still the man I was. Maybe it's time to let go. Maybe it's time to become what I was always meant to be. This is Sergeant William Reese. Serial number 4772968. Delta Force, 2nd Battalion, veteran, patriot, human. At least I was. If you ever find yourself in the mountains, in the deep woods where the trees grow thick and the silence feels wrong, and you see something watching you from the shadows, something tall and lean with eyes that burn like embers, that might be me, or it might be one of the others. Either way, don't look back. Don't stop. Just run. And pray we've already fed. Goodbye.